Week 2 of the fantasy baseball season. Here's a few pitchers I look to sell and trade this week. The first pitcher, Kris Bubic of the Kansas City Royals. So Bubic off to a great start, and he was a hot waiver wire pickup over the first couple starts for him on the year. So on the season, for Bubic, 12 and 2/3, 2-0 record, 16 Ks, and 0.71 ERA, 0.87 whip, and 2 quality starts. So last season, the Royals, they obviously made the playoffs. Good pitching to lead them there. And Bubic, in a small sample size last season, 30 and a third, 1-1 record, a save, 39 Ks, a 2.67 ERA, 1.02 whip, and no quality starts last season. So like I said, he's off to a great start. No doubt about it in the early going is Bubic, but I just don't see it holding up, even though we know over the last couple seasons, this Kansas City Royal team, they definitely developed guys to be good starting pitchers. Cole Ragans, obviously he came over from Texas. He wasn't doing anything over there. He's the ace of this staff. And Seth Lugo, who was trying to be a starter with the Padres, had a decent year and then took off last season. So Bubic, like I said, he's off to a great start for this Kansas City Royal team. But anytime someone gets off to a hot start early in the season and on a waiver wire pickup, I think it's a player you could flip off in a deal and see what you could get. March 31st at the Brewers, 6 innings, got the win. 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, quality start in that game. And April 6th versus the O's, 6 and 2/3, got the win. 5 hits, a run, a walk, 8 Ks, quality start. So no doubt about it, 2 great starts to start the season for Bubic, but there's not much tape on him, and as the league catches on and studies more of Bubic's tape and know his tendencies, I think he's going to have to make adjustments, and obviously his numbers are not going to stay at this elite level. So right now, while he's pitching great baseball, he's definitely a pitcher I would sell and trade this week. I'm not saying dump him for anything, but obviously while he's at peak value, this is a time to make a move. Next pitcher, a former Kansas City Royal, Brady Singer of the Cincinnati Reds. Singer, he was traded in the offseason for Jonathan India, and he's off to a great start as well with his new team in Cincinnati. 12 innings, 2-0 record, 15 Ks, a 2.25 ERA, 1.08 whip, and 1 quality start. And last season, he had a good ERA with a 3.71 and a 9-13 record was Brady Singer. So far, he's pitched well with his new team. But obviously, it's a bandbox over there in Cincinnati, and when the weather really warms up, that ball is going to really travel out. So right now, while he's pitching good baseball, he's a sell-high pitcher where he's been up and down throughout his MLB career. Singer, 1 good year, 1 bad year, it seems like the pattern's been. So his first 2 starts of the year, March 31st versus the Rangers, 7 innings, got the win. A hit, no runs, 2 walks, 8 Ks, a quality start. And April 5th at the Brewers, 5 innings, got the win. 9 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 7 Ks in that one. So 2 good starts, no doubt about it, for Brady Singer. He's going out there, he's getting the job done for the Cincinnati Red team of fantasy owners. But like I said, I just don't think it's going to be sustainable for the remainder of the season when the weather warms up, obviously, and this National League catches up to Singer, where he's been in the American League, obviously, with the Royals. Then we'll see if he could keep things going. The next pitcher, Shota Imanaga of the Chicago Cubs. So no doubt about it, Imanaga last season, he had a great rookie season, and I don't think he's fluky, but right now, he's definitely pitching in his first 3 outings of the season. Lights out on the year, 18 and a third, 2-0 record, 10 Ks, and 0.98 ERA, and 0.71 whip, and 2 quality starts for Imanaga. So he's going out there, he's getting the job done, obviously, for the Chicago Cub team and for fantasy owners, ranked in the top 10 in fantasy baseball so far in the early going. But like I said, he's not going to keep the ERA under 1 all season. Right now, I believe he's at peak value, and you could get maybe a hitter and a pitcher in a deal for Imanaga. That's how good he's pitching this season. And so far in the early going, pitching's been pretty much on the downside all over fantasy baseball with injuries and pitchers getting shelled. March 18th versus the Dodgers in the Japan Series, 4 innings, no decision, 4 walks in that one, 2 Ks. March 29th at the D-backs, 7 innings, got the win. 3 hits, a run, 2 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. And April 4th versus the Padres, 7 and a third, got the win. 4 hits, a run, 4 Ks, and a quality start. So Imanaga, he's going out there, he's getting the job done. And it was versus 2 good hitting teams at Arizona and San Diego, where he was locked in those ball games. So right now, while he's pitching good and obviously pitching over his head a little bit, even though last season, no doubt about it, it was a great rookie year for Imanaga, 15-3 with a 2.91 ERA and 19 quality starts. I still will put him on the block and see if you could get someone to overpay. I'm not saying dump these players just for anything, especially pitching has been very hard to find so far in the year, early going in fantasy baseball. But I'm just saying, if you could get max value for someone who you think isn't going to keep it up on the pace they are, this would be the time to do it. Obviously, this week, the next pitcher I look to sell and trade is Tylor Megill of the New York Mets. This pitching staff, the best in the league right now. And Tylor Megill, he's done this a lot over the last couple seasons. He wasn't expected to make the rotation. Then he gets into the rotation, pitches well until mid-May, and then he starts getting racked, and he's a pitcher after that second time throughout the lineup throughout his career. He's had a lot of trouble. So far in the year for Megill, 10 and a third, 2-0 record, 10 Ks, 0.7 ERA, 0.87 whips. He's pitching the baseball well for this Met team. This Met team, they're not scoring a lot of runs this season, but they're still 7-3 on the year with this great team ERA, and obviously Megill's part of it, and he's been a hot waiver wire pickup in the early going to start this season, but still, believe it or not, out there in 60% of fantasy leagues. But if you could pick him up, obviously in some more for the trades, Megill, this would be a time to do it. So his next outing is tomorrow versus the Miami Marlins, where this Marlin team, they got one of the worst hitting teams in the league, I believe. And I think Megill, he'll just boost his value up even more. So with another good matchup versus not a great hitting team, this is a time that you could sell Megill off, in my opinion. Because like I said, just going off track record alone, by mid-May, early June, he's going to gas out a little bit or even get injured as Megill, where he's had injury-prone seasons throughout his career. March 28th at Houston, 5 innings, got the win. 3 hits, a run, a walk, 6 Ks. And April 4th versus the Blue Jays, 5 and a third, got the win in that ball game. 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. He's going out there, he's pitching well. But he's a 5-inning pitcher for this New York Met team, even though a lot of pitchers, obviously the game's changed nowadays, are 5-inning pitchers. But like I said, Megill going off track record, where by middle of the season or earlier in the second month of the season, he starts getting hit and giving up a lot of runs, and he walks the ballpark. And also as well, injuries have been a problem. So right now, while he's pitching great, he's a sell-high pitcher this week. And final pitcher I look to sell in trades, Robert Suarez of the San Diego Padres. Suarez right now the best closer in fantasy baseball, Major League Baseball in the season. 5 innings, 5 saves, 7 strikeouts, no ERA, 0.20 whip. So this Padre team off to a great start in the first week and change of the season. Like I said, Suarez, he's getting a lot of opportunities, saving ball games. And right now, he's the best closer in fantasy baseball. But if you could sell him high and get a bat, or even get a starting pitcher in a deal, you always go out there and try to make that deal, because closers for the most part don't need to pitch 2-3 times a week. I know strikeouts and saves are going to help you in, but anything else besides that, they're not going to put up big numbers, and especially in points leagues, their upside is limited compared to starting pitching most times. So Suarez playing great baseball, lights out so far in the back end of the bullpen, obviously, for this Padre team. But like I said, if you can put him on the trade block and get a bat or a pitcher in a deal, which obviously is tougher to have, especially if you get a bat every day for a closer, like I said, who's going to pitch 2-3 times a week. That's a great deal for fantasy owners. That's a few pitchers I look to sell and trade for week 2 of the fantasy baseball season.